Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Stephanie's Star Wars Corner, and today I am going to be doing a review on the novelization of Star Wars The Force Awakens by Alan Dean Foster. So first off, this isn't going to be like an entire book review, it's really just going to be like an overall what did I think about the book, and more focusing on what the differences were between the book and the movie, you know, deleted scenes, extended scenes, you know, any little extra dialogue that's in there. So to start off with, what did I think about the book? The book was okay. I don't know, maybe, you know, seeing the movie and then reading the book is a bit biased about it. I thought the book was fine. I mean, some of the writing, I don't know, it's hard to explain about the writing. You know, you have like the cheesy moments in The Force Awakens, but then they're fine. But then when you get to those moments in the book, sometimes they're a little bit cringy, you know? It's like, oh man, that's more cheesier than what it was in the movie. I think if you're just wanting to read anything and everything Star Wars related, then of course read The Force Awakens. But it's not like necessary. Now, if you want to sit there and get into the, you know, the deleted scenes, the extended scenes that are in the book, then I would definitely recommend that you pick this up, because even though it's not like a ton of additional scenes or anything going on, but that just kind of fills in some of the plot where it kind of maybe seemed like some of the stuff was kind of rushed a little bit, or maybe something might not have made complete sense. It does add some more depth to some of the characters. You really get a lot of what their thought process is in the book. So like I said, if you're wanting to find out what some of those deleted scenes are, then I would definitely recommend that you pick this up. I mean, the writing is just so-so. I mean, it's still a good read, but, you know, it's not like it's going to be a spectacular book like, you know, some of the other Star Wars books are. But, of course, you know, you're not going to get that out of a novelization of a movie. One of the reasons of why I really just wanted to get the book was because of the cover. I just thought that the cover was just really great. It's really awesome, and, you know, so much going on in it, so that's one of the main reasons that I wanted to get the book in the first place, was just because it looked cool. I did get my edition from Barnes & Noble, so if you do get it from Barnes & Noble, you do get these pages with some pictures on them, but I have seen another review or so that they have different photos in their books, so I'm not sure where that one comes from. Those look more like they're behind the scenes photos in that one. They got like some movie stills, but they have a lot of behind the scenes photos in that book. So these are just more all movie stills. So I'm kind of wondering where they got their edition from. So heck, if you don't even want to read the book, but you like the cover, then just get it for, you know, the cover, because it just looks cool sitting there. So now I'm just going to go into deleted scenes, extended scene type things. So if you don't want to know about any of that, then cut it off now, because then it's just going to be a bunch of spoilers about, you know, even if you've seen the movie but you don't want to know about the extra scenes because you want to read it for yourself, then yeah, go ahead and turn it off. There was one character who had like a little bit of extra dialogue, it seemed, going on, and that was Unkar Plot, or however his name is pronounced. I don't know how to pronounce it. We'll call him Unkar. And so, something that I found interesting was, I don't know if it was just the way that it was written, but it seemed like he had like this really big fascination with Rey, and kind of in like a really weird way, kind of stalkerish way. I don't know. Maybe it's because Rey was about the only good-looking thing on Jakku, and so he was fascinated with her. I don't know, but there was just the way the dialogue was written, you know, there was more about what Rey was thinking, like when she would look up at Unkar and she would describe how he was looking at her, and the way the dialogue came out from his mouth it was like I don't know, he was fascinated with her in like this really weird, creepy sort of way. So he did have like a bit of extra dialogue. Just seemed like he was in there just a little bit longer because of the way Ray was sitting there, explaining in her head what he was doing. What was kind of surprising was that Unkar shows up again, and that is, I'm not sure what the planet is called, but where Maz's castle is, when Ray, Finn, Han, Chewbacca are all there. Ray kind of walks off, and she sees Unkar there. And then he's like, hey, you owe me money or something like that. And then Chewbacca comes up all of a sudden and he rips Unkar's arm off. And that was pretty cool. I could see why they left it out though, because, it's kind of not necessary. Why bring him back? He was on Jakku. Why have him, show all the way up back there? But it was just a funny scene because, yeah, Chewbacca just shows up and he's like, leave Ray alone. Yank, there goes your arm. There was one completely new scene, and that was for Poe, and it was after the TIE fighter crashed, and what happened to him. He wakes up and he sees a creature coming towards him. They talk together, and this creature apparently gets him a ship or something. They don't really go into detail about that, but I really didn't think that scene was needed. I'm glad that they did not put that in the movie because it kind of took away from, is Poe dead or alive? And then he shows up and he's alive, and it's really, he shows up at Maz's castle, and it's, exciting. You're like, look, Poe's still alive. So that's one of those scenes that I was definitely glad didn't show up, because I didn't even like reading it. It's like, well, there goes ruining the surprise that Poe is still alive. There was one scene that had a little bit of extra dialogue in it that I found a little weird. I don't know if it was just me, and that was the scene where Han, Chewbacca, and Finn are, preparing the Millennium Falcon to go to Starkiller Base. And Han and Leia are talking and, that whole dialogue. And then all of a sudden Han says to Leia, he says, there's something that I've been wanting to tell you. And Leia says the oh so typical line of, tell me when you get back. And then that's when Leia says, if you see our son, bring him back home. So I'm okay with that line. That line's great. But it was the whole, there's something I've been wanting to tell you. Like, that's such a stereotypical line. And I don't know. I felt like it was really out of character for them. And then also, whenever you hear somebody say, there's something I've been wanting to tell you, and then the other person says, well, tell me when you get back, you know that person is gonna die. Because when I first saw The Force Awakens, I in no way thought, oh, Han's gonna die. But if they would have had just those 2 extra lines added into there, I would have automatically been thinking, oh my god, Han is gonna die. They said the typical line that you say before someone's gonna die. So I'm glad that line got cut out, because it would have ruined it probably. General Hux did have like a little extra dialogue going on in there, a little bit of character in there, and that happens during the scene when Ren is telling Snoke about Rey having powers, and that's when Hux comes walking in and says, oh, we found out where the Resistance base is, it's in the Ilenium system. And then that's when, Snoke's like, oh, go prepare your death, Rey. And so Hux kind of questions Snoke at that point, and he's, basically like, want me to destroy the whole system. He says, that he's got people trying to pinpoint the exact planet that the Resistance base is on, because I don't know how many other surrounding planets there are, so we'll say like, there's 8 planets in that system or something. And so Snoke's like, well, we don't have time for you to pinpoint where this base is, so just destroy the whole system as a whole. And the Hux is, saying to him, well, let us pinpoint that one planet, and then we can use the surrounding planets as a base for him, because most likely those planets probably don't have anyone living on them, or if they do, they don't really have any kind of technology, anything to fight off the First Order with. So why blow up those extra planets? We can just use them as more bases so we can be near more planets. But of course Snoke says, no, go blow everything up. And so of course Hux goes and follows his orders. So it's kind of nice to see that at one point, you know, he had a little bit of brain and he was thinking, heck, we don't have to destroy everything. So, you know, at least he's got like a tiny bit of a heart, you know, not maybe necessarily for people, but at least he doesn't want to destroy every single planet that is out there. And then there's my favorite little extra extended scene, and this is when Ren and Snoke are talking for the first time, you know, and Snoke's asking about, you know, there's an awakening and all that crap. So Snoke says that he watched the Empire fall, and he says it was neither poor strategy or arrogance that made the Empire fall. And so he says to Ren, you know what did. And Ren responds back with sentiment. And so Snoke goes on to say that Vader had a moment of weakness. And so Snoke's exact words were, had the father killed the son, then the Empire would have prevailed. And I thought that line was really awesome, and I wish it was something they would have kept in the movie, because you probably wouldn't have thought about it during your first viewing, but re-watching it, I think it kind of would have hit you that this line kind of pertains to what happens at the end of the movie with Han and Ren. And so it kind of makes me think, when Han and Ren are standing there, did Ren kind of think about what Snoke was saying to him? And so was Ren thinking, you know, I don't want to be weak like Vader was, you know? He made the Empire fall because he had his little moment of weakness. And I don't want to be like Vader and ruin the First Order because I was too weak. And that he's thinking, if I kill my father, then this is just the beginning of the rise of the First Order. And so, you know, it kind of flip-flops from, you know, Vader should have killed Luke, you know, father should have killed son, so now it was son killed father, and thinking that maybe, yeah, the First Order would be that much closer to being more powerful. And then to round off the end of the book / movie, there was a little extra scene in there when Rey has just, you know, slashed Ren's face after their battle. And in Rey's head, for a few brief seconds, the voices in her head say, kill him, you know, pretty much saying, look, there he is, he's down there, he's kind of stunned, finish him off. But then she kind of quickly suppresses that. But that part was really cool, because then you start thinking, oh, there seems to be a little bit of dark side in Rey that was trying to get out. But then she quickly suppresses it, goes off, and runs to Finn to take care of him. And then after that, you know, then there's the scene where Snoke tells Hux, go get Ren, you know, meet up with me, and then we're going to finish his training. And then you think, well, how did Hux get to Ren? Because that planet blows up immediately. There is an extra little scene there that has Rey sees that Hux shows up, picks up Ren, and they take off in their ship. And then that's when Chewbacca's there, and they get Finn, and they all take off too. And then the planet blows up. So that was just a nice little extra scene to clarify how they got off, that they did get off, because, you know, it's kind of like they just, if the planet blows up and you're like, okay, they're in the next movie, apparently they got off. So that just, you know, helped clarify that what happened. So that is it for this book review, if you want to call it a book review, more like a movie / book comparison. But if you want to check out my other videos, please do so. It's Star Wars Celebration 2016 and my Star Wars Funko Pop collection. So check out those, and I will see you guys in episode 4.